If you are listening to this, that means that you, in some way, shape, or form, have been taking sales calls. And I should say these are direct sales calls. This is only going to people who, selling agency, selling rocket launch. Not talking to the SDRs on this one. They shouldn't be seeing this. I mean, they can see it, but I'm talking to agency and rocket launch sales team. First off, my gosh, we just got a lot going on. We're hitting new highs. We are getting more leads coming in. We're being more aggressive. I really think that we are going to see some ridiculous stuff happen over in the next 6 to 9 months. Because of that, because we have so much going on, I mean, for example, let me tell you some things. Like, first off, we had a recent addition who is a very serious player on the rocket launch side, Mr. Ben Johansson. 3 sales in his first 8 work days. Is that right? 3 sales in 10 days total. I mean, that's firing right out of the gate. Super excited to have him on board. We've also have Tom Lito from the training department, who's also been training on sales calls, and Gus Krogan. Good Lord, my mind is fried. Gus Krogan from, it's funny. People are they're gonna come back and they're gonna hit me up in Slack and they're gonna be like, Gus Lito. Tom Lito from training, Gus Krogan from agency has also been doing rocket launch calls, and I think it's important for those guys to train over there because, 1, we have a lot of appointments coming in, but 2, I think there's some great situations that are coming up that we can use them for. And then, of course, our agency sales team, Carl and Dan, we've just been seeing an excess of leads that are coming in who the quality is much higher. And as we know, we're getting ready to see this bigger service package be pitched to clients. Now, why am I emailing everybody? Because for the past several months, maybe not even that long, maybe like 6 weeks, I've been doing open office hours from 3 to 4 p.m. Central for the rocket launch team, okay? But we're getting to a point, there's 2 main things that I'm talking about in this video. One is that I want to take that open office hour session for the rocket launch team and expand it to the entire sales team, because I think we're going to have a lot of scenarios come up where just people need help on a daily basis, and I want to make sure I'm a good steward of my time and that I'm always available. So I'm going to re-update the calendar invite, and I am going to send that out to everybody who takes sales calls, and everybody can accept it. Just mark yourself to free, and then you can, does that mean you have to show up every day? No, of course not. But if you want to show up and listen, you can. And if you don't have a need to show up, you don't have to. But I think it'd be good to at least come to some. And if you have pressing issues, you can come talk about it. Now, let me move this over from, I know everybody is enjoying this screensaver I have here, but let me move this over. So we still have this. I've talked about this in the past, this rocket launch team resources. I'm going to change the title of this to sales, like a sales team resources sheet. And within it, I've put 2 new tabs that the rocket launch people will see as new tabs. But for anybody else who doesn't have access to the sheet, this whole thing will be new. So first off is this daily open office hour schedule. So I've divided these slots up into 10-minute slots. There may be times on a daily basis or just times throughout the week when you're like, oh, I need to show up to an open office hours session and I have to cover this one thing. It needs preference over just some people showing up with, random everyday sales situations. So if that's the case, you can come in here and reserve a time slot. You can reserve multiple time slots if needed. Like, for example, today, Dan and we have something that we need to cover for 20 minutes. I don't think it's bad if other people come and they listen to that stuff. If for some reason you have a situation that needs to be discussed and it can't be covered on the open office hours, then we'll book another time. But if it can and the open office hour slots are available, book that time and we'll know, like, hey, this is a time where rocket launch, agency, whatever the situation is, we can come together and figure out, is there something with the conversation that we need to work on? Is there something with scope of work that we need to work on? What do we need to do? Okay. And we can do that there. Secondly, the second thing that I'm doing is in this huge system now that we have built, everything that's going on, I want to make sure we're also good stewards of reviewing game tape, listening to phone calls. And I don't think I have been as, I don't know if organized is the right word, but whatever I'm doing, I need to change, because I try to set aside Tuesdays to listen to calls. And for whatever reason, sometimes I'm like ready to listen to calls on a Tuesday and I don't have anything that's really new or pressing to listen to. And then all of a sudden, like a couple of days later, I'm hit with like 13 different calls to listen to. And it's admittedly too much. It can be too much if all of a sudden I have that much listening to do. So here's what I want to do. I think that we all should be listening to our calls on a regular basis. I would like if you take calls once a week, I would like to review a call. Okay. And I have this other tab over here. Oh, let me back up. I'm going to keep this sheet in the calendar. I'm going to keep the link to this sheet in the calendar invite for the open office hours. So if you ever need the team resources sheet, go to the link that's in there. You'll be able to find any of the resources that are in here. I'll cover these other things real quick. I've got some call review notes from some previous calls that we've listened to, some recordings of trainings that we've done with Rob, or maybe I've done some. Talk track libraries. These are usually 1 to 4 minute videos of handling certain objections that people come with, and then some just other areas for resources. Daily open office hours, and then this section here. Basically, I want to have, you know what? I realized in organizing this, just let me talk through this. This date is Tuesday, right? So basically, before the next date, you would get your stuff in there to be able to submit the call to be listened to. Basically, everybody should have this in here, okay? So I'll tell you what. I'll update this stuff, but really what this should probably be is more like client or prospect call name, rep notes, and then I'll have a link for my notes to get them back to you so you can see this, and then call link or location. So if you've uploaded a call into Refract, cool. If you can only get it to me through HubSpot or whatever the case, just let me know where the location and or link is at. I'll fix this up so this makes more sense. Originally, I had this rep name in here, but I ended up carving out a spot for every person on the team who is taking calls. So Lucy will always submit her stuff here. Steph will always submit her stuff here. Dan will always submit his stuff here. Ben will always submit his stuff here for the next Tuesday. Okay. And then next week, Lucy will submit her stuff in this column. The following week, Lucy will submit her stuff here. You guys get the point. So I want to listen to one call because sometimes we're doing things that we just, no one reviews game tape more than Tom Brady. I just know it to be the case. He's the first one in listening to game or watching game tape Monday morning, and that's what makes people great. And so I want to be more organized in how we're doing this. And this is going to be a big deal to help with that. And then I can pick 1 or 2 really good calls that we'll listen to as a team on the Wednesday group trainings. Okay? I think that is it. If anybody has any questions regarding this, let me know. Holler at your boy. I'll do my best to help out. I got some other stuff coming, but this is a good way for us to get tied together on some things and wanted to get this out there. All right. Thank you guys very much, and I will catch up with you later.